Start.
We are recording.
Wonderful. Okay. Can I start off the session with everyone rolling Destiny, please?
Give me a second.
Hey!
Ooh,
Wonderful.
dang it. Good job, Nikia.
Come on. There.
All right. Bro, I want you guys to know you have so many light side tokens to use, so fucking go crazy.
I went crazy last time.
No, don't give Geo that permission. You know he'll use all of them in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, it's better than not using any of them ever.
Eddie,
Bro, you know what?
Eddie, sit down
Questions without
and
ever
watch
using
watch a master at work.
Okay. Would we all like a recap?
If you want
Always.
to, what the hell is going on here? You guys go ahead. Do the recap. I gotta apparently reopen this page. Go ahead.
Basically, to kind of sum up what all happened last. Oh, there's a lot of actual info that happened last session. You guys left the sparring room after Adrian got his knife and Mika threatened the hermit. You guys kept walking through and eventually found the meditation chamber. After looking all around in the meditation chamber, there wasn't a whole lot physical to be found. After Mikio requested that the hermit and Quinn leave the room so that Mika could try something, they obliged. Mika and Adrian got into a heated discussion, which led to Adrian raising his voice, which alerted some battle droids. Hermit and Quinn ran back down the hallway into the meditation chamber, alerted them to this. Everyone hid. Not well, but well enough to hide from battle droids. Mikia with his valiant pillow fort. Quinn hiding in a pot plant. Adrian kind of just hiding up against a wall. and the hermit just being the shadow that he is. You all got a surprise round, where basically combat ensued. Mikio took out a few with his knife. Quinn distracted with suppressing fire as best they could. Adrian took out a substantial amount with his throwable phase knife. And the hermit, unbeknownst to Quinn and Adrian, fired 2 finishing shots very quickly and very discreetly, even claiming that he has a vow of passivity to finish off the fight. After that, I believe is when Mikia tried meditating and reaching out and trying his best to force a prophecy, a vision of the future.
Mm-hmm.
This, however, yielded some how to put this, some
Inconclusive.
inconclusive results. Not good, not bad, mostly just confusing.
Like the future is.
Like the future is. With no real answers, the hermit asked you all if you wanted to just leave now that the battle droids were now basically honing in on your location. You all agreed. He showed you a secret path out of the Jedi Temple, which went on for about a mile underground, and eventually you guys left basically what is the equivalent to a sewer system. You left that area into this little tiny creek, to where he, at the disgruntled request of Mikia, Mikia asked who he was, why he's here, etc. He revealed himself to be someone by the name of Quill Scorn. Was once a Jedi, but feels the Force no longer. He invited you all to his hut in the Deveron jungle, deep in the Deveron jungle. and led the way. Mikia, I'm assuming, is probably sticking away from the crowd, but still sticking away from the group, but enough to where he's still in eyesight and still kind of keeping to himself.
Mikia has his hood up, is not really talking to anyone, and maintains eyesight so that way he can see where everybody's going, but he's pretty much at the back of the party.
Which every now and again you guys can see the hermit kind of tilt his head back to make sure everyone's still with him as he's walking. That is where we were. I've already rolled obligation. And Quinn, how many credits do you have in your account right now?
Oh boy. Let's see. 2415. How do you divide that in half? Let me do the math. It's half, right?
Yes. Do the math for me. Go ahead and round up the 0.5.
Okay. Yeah, 1208.
You know. 1208.
And
right.
it was how much you said?
1208.
1208. Okie dokie, let me just.
So I feel like while we're walking, there's just like a little bing on Quinn's data pad. He looks at it, doesn't say anything, and just puts it back down.
What the hell was that, Quinn?
Oh, loan payment went through.
Well, at least the ship's flyable, we hope.
Sure.
As you guys are walking, is there anything you would like to say to Hermit / Quill as you guys are walking? It's about like 12:30 at night, possibly later. It's hard to tell on different planets, but it's getting late.
Yeah, it has many questions, and I'll role play some stuff with Quinn if no one else wants to.
You guys have the time. Let me know when you're ready to get there, because again, it's gonna be a long walk. By the time you guys actually get there, it'll be about like 1:30, maybe 2.
Quinn wouldn't be asking any questions right now. Mostly just one, because they wouldn't want to be asking anything out in the open, and two is just not in the mood.
Okay. So I'll say that Quinn is in the middle, Adrian right behind Quill, and Mikia holding up the rear.
Yeah, I feel like Adrian would go straight up to Quill and just so you survived.
Well, that's one way of putting it.
Do you know what happened?
If I did, do you really think I'd be out here in the woods?
That's fair. Look, I dated the Force as long as I can remember. But I can't ignore what happened back there. Something led me to that knife. What the hell is the Force, Hermit?
He kind of slows up the pace a little bit, still keeping his face forward. Well, that was the big question. That's the big question, isn't it? Some say it's a mystical energy that binds the galaxy together, connects us, flows through us. Others say it's a tool to be used as you see fit to gain power through the galaxy. Others say that it's a buildup of a special kind of living bacteria in your bloodstream called midichlorians.
What was the
Other
Force
to me,
Yeah.
It's been so long, I don't really remember it anymore. In fact, the only reason that I really remember having it is, and he kind of looks at his hand, his completely bandaged hand, and he kind of closes it, and he kind of makes a fist and keeps walking forward. Let's just say it leaves scars.
I mean, no Mandalorian's afraid of scars, but and there's a moment where Adrian's just like, "Oh fuck, am I a Mandalorian or what the fuck am I right now?" But he kind of pushes forward. I don't need scars. I need something that I can use to help. And right now, that helped. I Hermit, I think I've really fucked up.
How so?
I knew that I was different a long time ago, and I found a way to stop the Force from influencing me, or I guess me controlling it. And now I've got these people who depend on me, and I really think I'm in trouble.
Hmm. You said you found a way to shut it off.
Yeah, it's not legal, but my parents were influential enough to make people look the other way.
You can't shut it off, kid.
No, but I can at least make it go away for a little while. At least that's what the thing did.
Why would you want to?
Because my
You have
culture is
you
actually
you
the
have
Jedi.
you
He
have the
taught me.
opportunity. You have the opportunity. He stops the line. He turns
Yeah.
around to Adrian and goes, "You had the opportunity
Whoop. Oh, jeez.
to revolutionize the way that your people work. And you didn't think to try and capitalize on it?"
You're right. I was scared and I didn't know what was going on. By now it's dangerous. I could have been a new type of warrior, but there's no guarantee that others would appear like me. And people were scared because the first time I used it, I killed someone.
Hermit tilts his head, turns back around and starts walking in, and he goes, "You killed someone using the Force. You know you're for sure not the first person to do that."
Adrian kind of hustles to catch up. Yeah, but
And you're a Mandalorian, right?
I was. I don't know if I am now.
Isn't killing kind of y'all's thing with the weapons and the conquest and such?
Adrian pulls up a sad smile. Like, yeah, that's kind of our thing.
So you kill one guy and you wuss out of the whole thing, huh? He kind of pushes a branch out the side.
I don't know if I'm the one who was out, but they're the ones who threw me in prison.
That's because they saw your potential. Mandalorian leaders don't like competition, especially
There's a
competition that they can't control.
that that I feel like is the switch that flicks in Adrian's head of like, oh shit, they didn't put me away because they were scared of the power. They were scared that I would replace them. And maybe he doesn't know if that's what he needs to hear or not, but there's a slight tilt to his shoulders, and even though it's 2:30 in the morning, there's a renewed energy as he kind of just tries to catch up with Quill. Anyone else want to do anything?
Quinn, you good?
Quinn's pretty much just been kind of trailing right behind the two, just to kind of keep up. But so it's been hearing this entire conversation, but not interjecting.
Awesome. Cool. So passively listening. Gotcha.
Yep.
Miki, are you good? You good back there?
Mikia's not listening. He's not participating. He's just in the back.
Brooding in the back. You got it. Time passes. You guys get to this kind of shabby looking little hut. Even through like the thick canopy of the jungle, you can see like bits of moonlight kind of passing through that, kind of illuminate the little patches of this kind of like cobbled, like gnarled wood log cabin. But size-wise alone, just from looking on the outside, it looks like it can fit one less than you guys. But since Quinn is so small, you can probably make do. You guys get to the little area that the hermit deems his own. You can kind of see like a little hammock of leaves kind of strapped between two trunks, etc. Very lived in. He goes, "All right, well, we're here. It's getting late, so I'll start making you guys beds."
It's at this moment that, as soon as we kind of walk into the hut, Miki immediately looks for an exit, like sort of the back porch kind of area. Finds a bit of grass, pulls out his vibro sword, thrusts it into the ground, and makes sure that everyone can hear him, and says plainly to everyone, "I'll be back," and just starts walking off into the forest.
Quill looks at, or the hermit looks at you two and goes, "Should I? Is that normal?"
No, that's not normal.
All right, well, I'll listen out for him. Here, and he kind of like shows you guys inside of his cabin. It's basically a Yoda cabin, but for a human.
Yeah.
He opens the cabin. He's like, "All right, so I got some spare pelts in there. You can use those for blankets. Someone can take my bed. I'll sleep outside in the hammock tonight. The couch over there, Quinn, you can curl up in that if you want to, but it's not the best, but it's shelter."
Adrian's kind of just like, is there a fire pit in the cabin?
Oh yeah. And as
starting the fire, and
as you go do that, the hermit actually takes his hood off and unclasps his mask and hangs it up on one single gnarled hook, revealing a completely like scarred, bald head, covered in burns. He hangs the mask up, and as he looks at you and you get the fire started, you can actually see his face in a bit more light, and you see that there are bits of his lip that are kind of like charred off, just revealing like the tiniest hint of teeth. And he just goes, "All right, sleep well. I'll keep an eye out. If anything happens, I'll let you all know."
fair enough. Glenn will take the first watch if you want to get some
Quinn's
rest.
already passed out on the couch.
And that'll do.
I don't I don't sleep much these days anymore. Trust me, you'll be fine.
Adrian plans on staying up for a few hours, but will probably crash and burn.
Gotcha. Hermit goes out, lays down in his hammock, and is keeping a watchful ear out for any potential threats. Kind of hears very, very slight noise of what Mikia is doing off in the background. Mikia, after you do what you're going to do you want to say anything to your party, or are you just going to go right into the cabin? Are you going to talk to the hermit? What are you planning to do after?
Mikia
Let's
actually...
say for flavor right now, it's like 2:15.
Mikia actually returns after everything I said in my text message.
Mm-hmm.
He sees Hermit sitting in his hammock, just kind of keeping watch more than anything else.
He's playing with like one little like firefly that's kind of like moving between his fingers. He has like his left leg kind of lazily lazily off the hammock as he's kind of rocking back and forth.
Are the others asleep?
His head kind of swivels to you. The firefly kind of flies away a little bit. And even in the moonlight, you can see his face a lot easier now. He kind of tilts his head and he goes, "As far as I know."
There is something I must discuss with you.
He kind of moves the hammock a little bit more to get some momentum and eventually kind of moves himself off and stands up and he goes, "Shoot."
This Temnut, you know he is of the Black Suns.
I've done business with the Black Suns before.
Ah, would you say that you have sway over the group?
Fuck no.
Mikia gives this laugh of exhaustion and yet like not necessarily like that it was so funny that it was crackling up, but more of like more of an insane kind of cackle.
No, when you start laughing, he kind of smiles too. It's first like he showing genuine emotion. He kind of smiles and he goes, "Nah, kid, I owed them money a while ago, but I doubt they remember me."
Oh, so you owed them money as well. Why was that?
It's some business a couple, I guess, about 15 years or so now. It's been a while. No, but you know, you pick up a few tricks of staying hidden, laying low over the years, and yeah, people tend to forget.
Well, I may have to take you up on learning how to, as you say, be forgotten.
Now, here's the thing also. I owed money to Temnut's father, who recently, if my sources prove correct, is now deceased. So he is the current leader of the Black Suns. And I don't know about that boy. That boy always strikes me as less forgiving.
Miga kind of looks up in the air. Less forgiving. A term not often heard nowadays, especially when it comes to criminals.
Yeah, well, seems like the galaxy changed, and he looks up to the sky with you and he goes, "Seems like the galaxy's constantly shifting, but some people just can't let go."
No. No, they cannot. I'm afraid I must inform you of something that I'm not sure if I have the will to carry out.
His eyes kind of shift down to you as his face is still kind of up in the air. He kind of like shifts his eyes to look at you.
My eyes are still up in the air, but I kind of sense that he's looking at me now.
Mm-hmm.
the debt that I owe can be paid in one of two ways. One was that I pay him 160,000 credits in less than a week. Which even...
Very,
Go
very
ahead.
low whistle escapes his lips as he just kind of puts one hand on his hip like, oof.
Yeah, I knew I was in the shit, and quite honestly, I thought that the brooding one and the small one were going to be the easiest scam I ever ran.
I'm sorry, who's the brooding one again? And he cocks an eyebrow at you.
The Mandalorian, the one who doesn't want to accept that he has force powers.
Mm, yes, that's the brooding one. And he looks back up to the sky.
The other way that I could pay off the debt was if I gave him a Jedi.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Did I tell you how me and Adrian met?
No, but and he kind of walks over, goes underneath his hammock and pulls out like a tiny stool, sits down. But I'm sure you'll tell me.
I have many stories to tell you, my friend. I'm not sure how much sleep I plan on getting tonight.
I think we got time for one before you pass out.
I had...
Looks past your character at the numbers of 1 point away from strain threshold.
Fair enough. um, I had successfully talked these two into taking me with them, as I had proclaimed myself to be the false Jedi, as is the nickname for those who know me as Mikia. I had used my people's talent to be able to successfully con so many. But the floor was vanishing underneath me. And here comes a dumbass from Mandalore and a dumbass from Polis Massa. And I think this will be the easiest con I have ever run in my life. And then I see that the Mandalorian has the power to use the Force. And then I meet up with Temnut again, that rat bastard. I foolishly walked up to him thinking that he had seen my companions and I had to provide cover, but I had gotten caught in another one of my ways of talking my way out, and little did I learn later that even though I was told to keep my mouth shut, and these people I had barely known, these people I had no reason to trust me, because I'm a fucking liar, or as the little one likes to call me, a fucking charlatan. And yet...
a thin-lipped smile from Quill.
And yet, Adrian was willing to go along, and he saved my life from Temnut, even if it was only for a little while. He had no reason to do so. He had no reason to trust me. He had no reason to believe a word I said. And yet, I am here. And yet, I am on this quest that will change the course of the galaxy. And I kind of open up my arms and kind of look out to the sky. Do you not understand me, galaxy? The one true Force user is now here. And I am with him, and I am a fucking fraud. Why the fuck am I here? And I just kind of look up and I go, Adrian must be protected at all costs. You know this.
It's my experience that any Mandalorian and user of the Force worth their salt can protect themselves.
It is not as simple as that. He is the last that we know of. Until there are other Force users, I cannot...
I wouldn't say that, Mikia.
Mikia kind of stops mid-sentence. You know
Quill
of
kind of
others?
Quill goes into his cloak and kind of unscrews a flask and takes a sip from it, screws it, puts it back in.
You know of others?
I know of one.
Where are they?
Why don't you get some sleep, Mikia? We'll talk more in the morning.
Kind of realizing just what he's been told, he goes, I must ask you one thing, and this is above all else. I will not have my friends pay for my crimes to the Black Suns.
Nor should you.
If the worst is to pass, no matter what my actions are, get them off the planet. Get them away from me. Get them as far away from the fuck up that I am. That is the one thing I ask of you.
He gets up off of his stool, walks over to you, puts an arm around you, and starts walking towards his hut. And he goes, Mikia, I often found in my days, the best way to sleep off a negative attitude like that. He takes out his flask, puts it, slams it into your chest, and goes, a nice drink and a good night's rest. Don't wake your friends. Tomorrow is a new day.
You are more clever than you seem, Quill.
I had friends that used to say the same, but it's always nice to hear it. And he pats you on the shoulder twice and just kind of friendly pushes you into the cabinet and shuts the door.
I take a drink. I take another drink.
You drink fine Karelian whiskey.
I take a third sip. And I don't even find a bed. I don't even find a couch. I just find the most comfortable corner that I can find and just fall asleep on the floor.
Ah, yes, the tired, tipsy sleep.
Yes.
Very, very used to this one. Cool. All right. We wake up the next day. How early are we? I assume, first of all, everyone can fully restore their strain with a good night's rest. If you have any wound, a good night's rest restores 1 usually, but you're in Quill's cabin, which restores 2. I need to do a roll really quick. This isn't Quill rolling this, but okay, so that's there we go.
There you go.
We can just get rid of all of that. But the way that fixing ships goes in this game, because I looked it up, is apparently a lot more arduous than I originally thought. So that was my B, guys. But the repair droids that Teth sent to your ship restore your ship at a pace of 5 hull threshold plus whatever successes they roll on their mechanics check per day. So because you guys landed on this planet at about noon, by about noon today, that is what your hull trauma will be at for the YT.
It's only been 1 fucking day. Go figure.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying, y'all have been fucking through it.
That's why Quinn just passed out.
If Adrian, if you'd like to make a self medicine check on yourself, you may.
Yes, I would. Thank you. A
If he
stealth
likes it.
medicine?
No. A self, as in your person, a personal medicine check for your wounds.
Fair enough. Difficulty?
No difficulty. Just roll me your medicine check, and you can heal however many successes. Heal 1 wound for me.
Hoorah.
Cool. So everyone wakes up. I'm gonna say for simplicity's sake, y'all just wake up, kind of simultaneously. Unless there's something you guys want to do before everyone else wakes up. I'll say Mikia surrenders that because he opted to sleep in a corner, so he's gonna wake up last.
I am so far gone in the corner and the stress that I was under. No, I'm last to wake up.
13 strain is a lot of mental energy, my man.
Yep, I am the last one. I'll be lucky if I wake up at noon.
I feel like before we leave, Quinn is the one to go like up to Mikia and just like, as Mikia just kind of like nicely wakes up himself, Quinn is just like in his face. It's time to go.
Yeah, Mika, you wake up to that.
So as
Adrian woke up early and is kind of just like getting used to his knife, but that can be done without everybody. So
as
sure.
Mikia wakes up and sees the ghostly face of Quinn,
it's just Shy Guy.
Still,
Shy guy.
somewhat
Shy guy
ghostly face, like
it is
just a freak out face.
It's as if it's kind of like if Shy Guy's mask was fleshy looking.
Yeah.
Mikia,
It's
as
like
he opens his eyes fully, uses his quick draw talent and pulls his blaster and aims it directly at Quinn's head. After realizing who it is, then he goes, "Oh shit!" Puts it away. I'm sorry. Oh god. I sorry.
And just Quinn is just like falls backwards on his butt at first, and then it's like, we're ready to go.
Mickey
Cool.
kind of stands up and goes, "We may be ready, but we're not able." Oh fuck! And I've got that like I didn't actually sleep. I was passed out kind of feel.
Mm-hmm.
Quinn actually would have like a little. Is it all right to say if I have like a little canteen of water on me?
I'll allow it.
Okay. Quinn would go up to like see you just kind of getting up slowly, and would have noticed the flask by you, like in your hands, and just goes up to you and is like, "It's best to have some water after drinking so much."
Mikia sees the fact that after everything, Quinn is still kind of offering water and sees that this is obviously a very generous thing, and very, very politely grabs it, nods, takes a swig, goes to whatever passes for a well or for a sink in the hut area.
There's a fully functional sink in this hut.
Sweet. And I go and fill it back up to the brim and pass it back to Quinn.
Yeah.
Quinn uses it to water himself.
Whole different story. Anyway.
Ooh. Refreshing.
Refreshing. I pour it on my face to drink.
I just poured in one of my face holes.
Anyone will do. It is fine. Cool. As you're doing this, the way I kind of envision this cabinet is like front door. Immediately on your left, there's like a longish love seat, a armchair, the hearth, and then like kind of in a back left corner is like the little kitchenette. Back door is directly opposite the front door. And on the right is kind of like almost immediately a wall, but then there's like a hallway that is kind of like in the middle of this area that goes down into like 2 separate rooms, one of which is a refresher, the other one is like a actual room. All the while big enough for the living room to fit all of you guys. But coming out of the room, you see the hermit comes out. I say the hermit because he has his mask on now. The faceless mask with his robes, but this time it is no longer a full-on cloak. It looks like an actual set of like traveler's gears. Traveler's gear, still all the way bandaged up from fingertip to toe tip. Fully clothed. But this time, instead of like a cloak, it is one of those like kind of tattered ponchos that ends kind of just at the rib cage, at the end of the rib cage. Tattered, frayed, but still kind of like a scarf hood is kept over his head. He looks at this little exchange and goes, "All right, so we're ready to go."
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I'm actually quite interested to show you the ship.
As
I'm
ready
interested
as
to see
we
it.
will be.
I haven't flown a ship in quite some time. It'll be a rush to be behind the seat again.
Well, I'm sure you'll still be better than I am, sir.
Don't sell yourself short. It was a decent landing, given the circumstances. He opens up a hall closet, kind of like door facing you guys. You see him kind of disappear behind it for a second. He shuts the door as he has now the blue and gold trimmed pistol that Mikia saw very briefly. In his right hand, he tosses it into his left, spins it 3 times, and holsters it onto his left side. And goes, seeing a Force sensitive out in the open for the first time in a long time, I think is a good enough sign to break my my oath of passivity. Any trouble happens upon us, I'm by your side this time.
That's a real nice thing of you to say. What the hell is that?
Oh, this?
Mikia just starts to
kinda,
laugh.
I'll say you guys can talk as you guys are like leaving the hut and all that. And he goes, "Oh, this?" He takes it out, does like a few like gunslinger swirl tricks, tosses it up in the air, catches the barrel, and holds out the handle and holds out like the grip to you.
Adrian gently takes the pistol and examines it, not quite knowing what to expect.
That there, he I just kind of like getting his bearings, kind of like looking around. He goes, "That there, what did you guys come to the temple on? It's a long way from the city. Did you guys walk all the way?"
We had some speeder bikes.
I believe we.
Yes, with speeder bikes. We borrowed some speeder bikes from a ranger.
Could you take me back to them?
Destroyed, sure.
Good enough for me. All right. If someone would like to help, no rolls required, but if someone would like to help, the hermit, because he's got his mask on, kind of, you guys start making your way back. I'm not gonna make you roll stealth or anything because it's daytime. It's easy enough to kind of move throughout and avoid the battle droids. However, I will say the thing you see, and I'll explain what his pistol is in a second. But the temple has now gone into basically full down lockdown.
Yeah.
Patrols have picked up a lot. There's a lot more lights kind of scanning the areas. It's easy enough to avoid there. You kind of just keep your distance. As you guys are walking, he goes, "That there is a X-30 Lancer precision blaster. I've had that guy for years. It's heavily modified. Did them all myself." And he holds out his hand to take it back.
Adrian does hand it back. Javen, would I be able to roll lore and see maybe if I know something about that pistol?
Sure. Yeah, go for it. Roll me Actually, I think this would be more of a knowledge warfare check.
Ooh, I'm actually better at that, so I like that. Sure.
This could be 2 purple and 3 black.
That's fair.
Just because this weapon is old, it has been heavily modified, and you've never seen it before. Even so, the 2 threats is you've never seen it before. But
Fair enough.
given what the designations are, you kind of suss it out. Basically, the terms Lancer and Precision means that it's had a lot of it has like an extra stabilizing coil inside of it to help with the kickback of it, and Lancer meaning it's meant to penetrate armor. Essentially, this thing is accurate as fuck
And really very good at piercing armor. I like it.
and very, very thin bolts, very piercing bolts. That's all you get with the success. 2 threats. I won't punish you too much for it, but the any kind of advantages or more successes would give you what kind of mods he may have added to it.
Oh yeah, Adrian can't tell what mods have been added, but he can tell like the base pistol.
Exactly. Yeah. So the X30 Lancer Precision Blaster.
That's quite a weapon. You should be proud.
Oh, I am. You know, back in the day, this was well, 1/2 of a whole. You guys continue on. Unless you guys want to talk to Hermit anymore, you guys can go ahead and move on.
I think it's here that Quinn would start up with his many questions he has now that he figured out that Quill is Quill, not like as Quill, but like as like a Jedi.
I know what you mean.
Okay. Sir, if I may, it's a bit of a long walk, so if I may just like ask you a few questions.
You look out of breath. Do we need to stop for lunch or something?
Oh no, sir. I'm just
You're,
if I
the fanboy hyperventilating.
I very much I study Jedi lore. If that I very much would like to ask you about the Jedis in general.
If I'm not mistaken, you've said that you study Jedi lore. I think this is the 7th time you've told me. So yes, I picked up on that.
Yes. Okay. So I don't have a rapid fire list of questions that he would start asking, but he would immediately just start like nonstop, like probably.
Go ahead and just give me a couple of main questions on his mind, and we can just, for flavor, put in he's just babbling about stuff. What are some questions that he has?
Let's see.
If you have any.
Like, what makes a Jedi? Where the Jedi come from? How long were you a Jedi? Why are you no longer a Jedi?
One at a time. One at a time. Address it one at a time.
Okay. First question. What makes a Jedi?
Well, that's a matter of opinion.
Well,
every Jedi thinks that they are the ideal Jedi, from my experience.
Well, I guess the follow up would be, does it mean having the Force, or is it like you have to be trained, or is it like also your swords are having those swords, the lights are that
the lightsabers, yes.
Yes, lightsabers. Immediately jots that down. Is it
so? A lot of people, a lot of Jedi, including myself at one point, thought that what truly makes a Jedi is the attachment and the making of the lightsaber. A lightsaber is a extension. And Adrian can probably speak to this. Swords, guns, the weapon is an extension of yourself, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much the Mando idea, is you never let go of your weapon, because if you do, you lost part of yourself.
And oftentimes, Jedi Knights teach their Padawans that same thing. You lose your lightsaber, you lose your life. The weapon is a part of you. Another case of similar ideologies with Jedi and other cultures, and yet they never got along. Funny how that works.
That is funny. Well, from some of my studies, I did find that a lot of Jedi were very just passive as well. Did they just not use their lightsabers?
Well, yeah, my opinion, it's a matter of the Jedi. In fact, I knew one Jedi that rarely. It was scary. Quite scary.
Oh my!
But I was not of that mind back in the day. In fact, back in the day, I actually killed a lot of Mandalorians. Mandalorians, droids, killed a couple of clones too, actually.
Was this before or after the big tragedy?
Oh, I don't consider. It's funny how they call it a tragedy. I consider it a grace.
Why is that?
Well, the Jedi had lost their way. Something that you learn a lot about when you're a youngling is Jedi lore, history of the Jedi, the wars that they've been in, prophecies, yada yada yada. The list goes on. The more I talk about it, the more flashbacks I get, and man, it was boring. But every few millennia or so, the way that they put it, the Force has a way of resetting itself.
Oh.
So I guess now it was just the time for the Force to reset itself. Evil, good, doesn't matter. Eventually, the universe just has a way of hardcore resetting when the scales get tipped too much to one side, and he kind of like pushes a huge shrub out the way to clear the path.
I suppose that makes some very weird sense in a way, because nature.
If Force is life and life is Force, then why would it be any different to nature?
This is true.
I mean, after all the teachings of the Jedi were about accepting life and taking things as they go, keep in mind of the cosmic force, the living force, blah 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 blah. So much talking, but so little doing.
Well, if no, not that question. Sorry, this is more me trying to think of another question, because I have another question, but I don't want to ask it because it's like that might end the conversation.
It's up to you.
You know what? No, Quinn would not be like politeness, like very much not being. He wants to know. So, sir, if I may, and you can very well say if I'm being rude. I tend to do that a lot and just spouting things. It, how did, if you were a Jedi at one point, how did you, how are you still here?
Roll me a charm check. One red,
Difficulty.
one red, one purple.
Okay. Okay. You know what? I am going to do the thing since we have light points for it anyway.
Okay, for sure.
Fucking
Yeah, that's the way.
I'm so proud of
Thank you for the
Ed.
clapping, Gio. Thank you for the clapping.
It was worth it.
You know what? At
Wait.
least it didn't go bad.
That's pretty amazing, honestly.
I had several different responses based off of what you rolled. The full neutral one, he kind of stops for a minute, like fully stops the pace. Hands on the hips, kind of like looks up at the sky. Kind of scratches the back of the head. Looks at you and goes, "Beats me, dude." All I know is at the time when everyone started to collapse and die of what I call the plague, well, it kind of just didn't affect me. I felt fine, but the problem is I couldn't use the force anymore. Flying ships became a lot harder. Couldn't move stuff. Couldn't run as fast. But, what are you gonna do? 20 years of wandering around and I haven't found an answer.
Do you miss it, sir?
Let's just say for all the good the Force did me, it did equal amounts, if not more, harm to me as a person. But I was young. I was dumb. And the guidance that I had at my disposal was, well, it's what I had. It's not an excuse as to why I did what I did in my past, but it is the reason. Now, where did you say these speeder bikes were? And he keeps going. And he keeps going down the path.
If Gio's willing, I was hoping to have a conversation with Mikia.
As a perfect break, you guys have your conversation. I'm going to mute myself while I go to the bathroom and do one other thing. I will be listening though.
Of course.
I'm here.
All right. So Adrian kind of just drops back and hangs near Mikia.
Mikia's got his hands in his pockets. His hood isn't fully covering his face, but it mostly is.
So, do you remember when we were going to buy, and Adrian pulls up his fingers and does a discreet little fake air quotes? Yep, sticks.
I recall you lying to me about 3 or 4 times in a row.
Yeah, I'm not proving it out. Yeah. Okay, I have a problem, right?
Can I actually get Mikia to roll me a streetwise check? with three purple.
Give me one
and
second.
then tell me the results. And then tell me the results, please.
Because I actually have a actual mouse this time.
Hey, there you go.
2 failures.
All right, never mind. Continue.
Yeah. So when I was very young, I started realizing I could make things with my mind. My mother and father did not want me to expose myself to the rest of it. So they shut up about it. And then I found a workaround. And Adrian hands Mikia a dose of Neutron Pixie.
Javen, would I know what this is by looking at it?
Roll me medicine check.
Because that's obviously something I'm very good at.
It doesn't have to be, but...
Difficulty?
3 purple.
Now that's interesting.
You know, he didn't say what it is, but you're looking at it, and as you look at it, you're like, okay, this is definitely drugs. I've never seen this before, but it feels illegal to have it in my hand currently.
Which is nothing new for Mikia. So
which basically the way that we described it, Cedric, was what? It's the equivalent of like what? A tab of acid, you said?
Exactly. It's a tab of acid.
But like fast acid. Like acid that like is like quick acting. Although Mikia wouldn't know that, but like it's basically like, yeah, it looks like a little tab of acid. And Adrian just puts this in Mikia's hand.
So, kind of like what I do with my knife, especially when I'm, just kind of fucking around with things. I begin to twirl it in my fingers. So, what are you trying to tell me, Adrian?
When I was young, I didn't want the Force. And whether or not I want it, now we need it to survive. So I need you to hold on to that for me and not give it to me, even if I ask for it.
If you don't want it, then why do you want me to hold on to it?
I don't care what you do with it, Mikia. I just need it to not be on me.
Javen.
Yeah.
Would I have any indication of what would happen if I were to inject this thing into my neck?
It's not injection, it's a tab of acid, so you just put it in your mouth. You essentially just eat it.
Okay, rephrase. Is there any indication of what would happen if I were to ingest it?
Not with 0 successes, there's not.
Sweet. I open up the cab and go, fed enough, and I drink the whole thing.
How many doses did you have left, Adrian?
Literally just the one.
Okay, cool. Let me
Here, I have it pulled up. So, Geo, you now...
Hang on. Let me... Yeah, go ahead and describe it, and then I'll describe what the initial effects of what Mikia feels.
Okay. Game-wise, until it ends, which Jave and I have kind of figured out it's about an hour, you get 2 automatic advantages on agility and willpower-based checks. Once that hour ends, you get an automatic disadvantage on brawn, intellect, and cunning check until the end of the session.
Cool.
Basically, it's a powerful hallucinogenic.
Sweet. Miki is all for it.
And because it only lasts an hour, it's like you just snorted a line of cocaine.
Yep.
To where the effects are immediate. You put it in your mouth immediately. Adrian, what is your initial reaction as Miki does this?
I mean, there's part of me that's just like, oh no, don't. And then I'm just like, well, at least it's gone, I guess.
Mikia, as soon as you ingest this, you start to feel kind of like if your body was a still pond. And as your finger goes away from your mouth, you feel the ripple go from your lips around your face as a whoa whoa whoa. As it goes and flows through to your shoulders, out to the tips of your arms, through your torso to the tips of your feet. As you're now hiking through the forest to go back to the speeder bikes, as you're walking through this Deveron jungle, in your head, it feels like you're in a rubber hose animation. So like classic style Mickey Mouse, like black and white, like the rubber arms, like doot 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 doot, like you're just having a great time. This forest is beautiful. You see happy faces on it. You're walking through. This place is awesome.
So, because Mikia kind of grew up on the streets, and especially on a backwater shithole like Corvus, I'm probably guessing this isn't the first time Mikia's had hallucinogenics. Maybe not this powerful, but he at least understands that what he's seen isn't reality anymore, and knows that it's just his mind kind of fucking up.
Because you never had Neutron Pixie before, which by the way is $100 a dose.
Sweet.
I need you to roll me a resilience check.
Seems fair.
What does resilience take off of?
Brawn.
Okay, so that I don't
So
get
you
any boost
two
from that.
advantages.
What's my difficulty?
It's going to be 2 purple and 2 black.
Hey! 1 success.
So 1 success and 2 advantages. Good job.
The 1 success and 2 advantages is at first, no. At first, it starts to well, you know, like no. The initial 5 minutes is like, oh, I'm on drugs, and then the next 5 minutes is, did that tree just look at me? Oh my god, I think that tree has arms, and like you start to like kind of like space out and like weird out for a second. You start to tweak for like a minute or two, kind of like just in the back of the party. Adrian kind of like looks back and goes, "Are you all right?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
So before all
I'm
that, so before all that happens, before I start tweaking out, which I will be more than happy to roleplay if you want me to.
Go for it. Yes. Okay. So, let me finish this, and then you guys can roleplay it out as you would like to.
Sure.
Next 5 minutes is you kind of tweaking out, but after that is when your success and advantage is kind of like kick in. You're like, okay, wait, no, this is what's supposed to happen. Go for it.
So as I ingest it, before everything like fully kicks in, I look at Adrian and go, "Are you ready to move on from this drug-filled life you have? Or is there more I need to take?"
Adrian, roll me a streetwise check. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, it might be Cedric then.
Like I said, I had to use the
Cedric.
restroom.
There he is.
My head.
Oh.
Hang on.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I had to switch to my headphones, so I need to roll a streetwise check, correct?
Yes, you do.
Difficulty?
Mikia, what is your ranks in deception?
Interesting choice. I have 2 ranks in deception.
And what is your over? Is it 2 yellow, 1 green, or is it 2 yellow?
It's 2 yellow, 1 green, and -1 black.
Gotcha. All right, so I'm gonna say, Adrian, your whole roll for the streetwise check is going to be 3 purple, 1 black.
I'm gonna add my advantage because I'm coming off this drug. Or my disadvantage, sorry.
For sure.
So
It would actually
here's
be
my...
it would actually be 2 disadvantages, remember?
Oh, yes, it is. Thank you.
Cool.
So, yeah, very bad.
Dude, Mikia took this like a champ and is completely unbothered by it.
I am. Whenever I took this thing, it cut me off from the damn force.
I want you to remember something, my friend. And my voice begins to slur as he says that.
Mm-hmm. Adrian does not notice at all.
No,
Yeah.
he's too flabbergasted.
There are worse things than being a drug user, but the worst thing of all is lying to yourself. Isn't that right, Mr. Tree? And I immediately look at the tree.
I feel like at this point I would realize he's tripping balls.
Sure. If that's what you want to happen, then sure.
So I feel like it takes up to the point where he addresses the tree, and I'm just like, oh fuck, he's high.
Then about a minute later is when he starts like, huh.
And that's when I start going, the leaves are singing in the color of orange.
Okay, we're gonna walk this way now, Mikia.
Sir, is he alright?
Mikia, the wind hits your arm in like a bad way.
I immediately twirl around to try to avoid the wind. Like that fucking works.
We're walking this way, Mikia.
Get your hands off of me, you liar, pants on.
Wait.
Actually, you're pretty hot. I keep kind of walking.
Wait.
Mikia, Adrian's pants, as you say that, kind of start to like have that heat wave effect on them.
Oh, you might want to take those off. You don't want to burn your balls.
I'm sorry.
Look, I'm saying if you ever want to pass on your lineage, like all of us do, you might want to start taking off your pants. If you want, I can help with this.
Oh my god, really?
Meanwhile, Quinn and Quill are just like, yeah, so the force is.
Can I just roll a perception check just to hear any of this?
Yeah, it's 1 purple.
Cool.
Mika's not exactly being quiet.
I'm not being subtle.
Oh dear God, no. Javen, like, Adrian's not opposed, but he's very confused. How would that play down?
Okay, so Quinn, you definitely notice. I'll say the hermit as Quinn stops walking, the hermit turns around. Everyone's looking at Mikia. Adrian, you know this dude's high. You know you've gotten like this. Kind of the way that Adrian has been using is kind of like it's kind of like a Ritalin to ADHD, to where it's like it basically just helps you focus a lot, like really, really well, because you've been taking it for so long. But
yeah,
watching Mikia take it, this reminds you of like in your early days when you started taking it, of just like, oh no, this guy's just high.
Very much so.
He's not like hitting on me, but you know, hallucinogenics can sometimes just make you horny just because of how beautiful life is.
I'm being serious. I'm being serious, Adrian. You need to take off your pants if you want to save your children from burning. Your balls are not going to survive. They're too hot.
Okay, Mikia, you're gonna need to calm down just a minute.
I put my hands on the breastplate of Adrian. I'm going, shush, shush, shush. You listen to older Mikia. I am going to start taking off your pants. And I literally reach down to grab whatever I view as a zipper.
Mikia, where are your ears?
I feel my horns and I go, fuck! And I literally start running.
Does that pistol have a stun setting on it?
No, I just thought that'd be funny.
Why? He's running away.
I'm hearing through time!
I will say no roll necessary. In Mikia's mind, you are running. Adrian, I'm willing to bet you never let go of Mikia.
Yeah.
Once he started putting his hands on you, I'm willing to bet you never let go of him.
No, that seems fair.
You guys continue on through the forest with basically Mikia playing Sokka in the desert after drinking cactus juice.
Cactus juice.
It's the quenchiest.
After about an hour, you guys walk eventually Mikia towards the tail end of it.
Good salamis.
Mikia, you're now just like really thirsty and your eyes kind of hurt a little bit. But eventually you guys find the speeders. Cool. You guys uncover the speeders. What do you do from there?
We should probably check on the ship.
Yes.
I'm
I'd
not
agree.
letting you drive.
How you doing, Mikia?
In the desert, you can't remember your name.
He's humming tunes from another universe. He can't drive.
All right, so
I mean,
who's
he
going
couldn't
with who?
drive before the drugs, to be honest.
I'll take Mikia. You can take Quinn.
You sure?
No, but that's what we're doing.
The hermit puts his hands up and he goes, "All right, I guess you're with me, little guy."
Okay.
Oh, I really hope I don't crash and burn.
I'm going to need planetary piloting checks, please.
Yeah, I'm not good at that.
Ooh. Difficulty is going to be, I'll say 2 purple and only 1 black. 2 black.
Gio, if I crash this, I'm really sorry.
You can use a destiny point. You can use a destiny point to make it better.
I can also assist you. That might give you a black, though.
Yeah, no, I don't think you'll be assisting in your state.
On a speeder bike, there's no real way to assist, is the issue.
Yeah.
No, I find a way to assist Adrian. I wrap it around and I go, now put your hands directly on the steering wheel, spread your legs a little bit, get comfortable on the drive, and I push his ass and I go, and move forward with the thrust.
Oh my god.
After a very uncomfortable speeder bike ride back to town,
Banner looks uncomfortable with that.
leaving Adrian and Mikia in the dust. You get to see Quill's piloting skills, which, quite honestly, you don't feel the acceleration. You feel the wind. It feels like you're just a bird flying through the jungle. Smooth as he glides across. About 10 to 15 minutes later, Adrian and Mikia splutter up to where you guys found the speeder bikes initially. Adrian, how was the ride, bud?
Can I voluntarily take 6 strain?
You can take 5, 1 for each threat.
That seems fair.
The whole time Miki is having a hard time keeping his hands to himself.
Adrian just smacking your hands away.
Don't. Shh. Just let it happen.
Oh my god.
Oh, that was bad.
As this happens, a hermit walks over and goes, "Well, how was your ride?"
I mean, the old joke is that someone's horny, but it's really literal in this one's case.
The hermit puts a hand over his over the mouth part of his mask.
As one of the things that a lot of people would notice, though, is that as we got into closer to the city where people could possibly hear us, Mikia has switched back to his indiscernible accent. I disagree, Adrian. I have not pinched a tent since we left.
All right, let's get
comfortable.
let's get you some water and sober you the fuck up, huh?
Nonsense! I am perfectly fine, you handsome, scarred-up devil.
I'm gonna go find Teth.
That's probably for the best. you and Quinn go find Teth. Mikia, I think you need a bar right now.
A bar, as long as it's one with that horny devil that I met not too long ago. He had some impressive muscles. Come, I will show you the way.
Please do.
Jeez.
I just look down at Quinn and I'm like, I am so sorry.
Cool. So now Quinn and Adrian go off to find Teth. Did you guys want to do anything specific in this city, or did you guys just kind of want to montage it and move on to other stuff?
Let's just montage it. The only thing I was thinking of was like, all right, Mickey is acting up. I'm gonna ask Tets for some handcuffs.
You might
No,
like that.
Adrian
Kinky.
will definitely return the speeder bikes to Teth and just be like, thank you. We appreciate all of your assistance. We, quote unquote, did not go where you told us not to go.
You find Teth on her day off. She essentially just goes, "Oh wow, no, I'm glad you're able to find my. I've been missing those bikes. Thank you for returning them for me. Oh yeah, no, it's good you stayed clear of that temple. Bad news, that temple.
We're glad for civic duty and help out the Rangers.
She thanks you for your patronage. If there's anything you want to do with Teth, or if not, that's fine. She's just happy to help.
Nope.
Mikia, do you want to do anything in the bar, or are you just gonna be waiting?
I mean, I hit on everything that looks like passes for good muscles and skirt, but beyond that, I'm good.
Fair enough. Cool. So Hermit's doing his best to corral Mikia. As this is going on, you guys meet back up outside of the bar. I assume you guys go back to your ship.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You guys go back to your ship. I will say Teth probably also mentioned that what she did on the repairs for your ship were for free. However, if you want to repair it anymore, it would have costed you. But she did what she could for free, and that was strictly off the books, out of her own goodwill. Your system strain is fully recovered. Your hull is about at half strength. You guys get to the YT as the Hermit sees it for the first time up close.
And that is exactly how Quinn would introduce it. And here's my my YT 1760.
Javen.
Yeah.
I would like to roll a skullduggery check. I know this is going to piss off people, but I'm going to leave the Jedi sparring gear as compensation for the help that Teth has given us, because she deserves something. And I still have that sparring gear in my bag.
For sure. Are you rolling it against your party, or are you rolling it to leave it just at Teth's place?
At Teth's place.
So this will be a 3 purple difficulty skullduggery check.
Thank you, sir.
And 1 blue. You can go ahead and do 1 blue.
Not very good at this.
That is an all blank dice roll. That is impressive.
It is.
Adrian's having a bad day. Javen,
Adrian?
just for posterity, that is 3 threats, not 2.
it would technically be 4 threats.
You are correct, sir. Thank you.
You kind of go into your pack to unpack it. This is way before you get to the ship, but you kind of go to unpack it. Quinn kind of walks out, looking on their data pad or whatever they do. And as Teth is kind of guiding you out, she puts a hand on your bag and just kind of shakes her head and goes, "Don't worry about it."
Teth, you've been very helpful. It's only fair we compensate you some way.
Listen, any nuisance of the Separatists is a friend of mine. And she winks at you and pushes you out of her house.
Adrian, I'm not doing this to be subtle. I'm literally going to just give her a comlink message so she can contact us if she needs anything.
You kind of hold like a little, basically like, kind of like a business card out to her. And she does a sort of drug dealer handshake to you where she clasps your hand and like slides it out and then pockets it.
You've been a
And
real
she just
friend.
goes, "Always happy to help a stranger."
I feel like this is the first genuine smile Adrian's had in like 2 weeks, but he gives it to her and walks out.
Okay, nice to
Cool.
meet you.
So you still have the Jedi training gear. You guys get to the ship. Quinn, go ahead and introduce your new pilot to their ship.
All right, sir, and here is my YT-1760. It was actually in much better shape when I first got her, but obviously it's seen some damage.
I don't mind some carbon scoring.
Might be a little than that.
Yes, there was a bit of a issue with the navcom.
Well, how good do you know star maps?
Oh, quite well, sir.
Hey,
Well,
yeah,
then.
we're gonna head to the cargo bay.
Did I
Okay.
hear correctly that Quinn was getting me handcuffs?
Yes, but we're gonna use them in the cargo bay.
Oh, kinky. I like where this is going.
Okay, Quinn, let's show me around anywhere but the cockpit, or anywhere but the cargo hold, please.
Yes, would you like to see the cockpit?
I would love to see anywhere else but the cargo hold.
Yes, let's go inside. I will give you
Wonderful.
a brief point out of my droid. There it is. Let's move on.
Cool, a droid. Onward. Oh,
And
wonderful, a nondescript droid. I love that.
Uh-huh. And here, there's the mess. There's the bath refresher over there. I'll show you your room later. Cockpit up here.
Cool. Quinn goes off and gives Quill a brief tour. Did Mika and Adrian want to do something by themselves or not?
Mika?
I mean, you were showing me the cargo hold and supposedly with handcuffs. Beyond that, I have nothing.
I think Adrian is literally just going to try and keep Mika occupied in whatever way is less sexual.
Kind of like when you're taking one for the team, but you really don't want to be with that person. You're like, yeah, this is my collection of pops.
Kind of.
Cool. Awesome. So, brief rundown. Mikia, are you still hamming it up, or are you gonna drop it?
As soon as I'm out of view of Hermit, like as soon as Adrian and I are alone, and I go, "So where are those handcuffs?" Like the last thing that I say, And as soon as I stop that, I drop the accent again. I immediately posture up. I immediately, like, face-wise look sobered up. And I go, so was that fun for you, or was it just fun for me? I literally look at Adrian with a smile.
Honestly, more fun for you. So, yeah, that was my last dose, Mikia.
Best to give it to a liar, right?
I gave it to a friend.
I don't think you should call me that just yet.
Honestly, Mikia, you've been more of a friend than anyone who was in my squad or my family. At this
No.
point,
Adrian,
I've been a shit friend, I'll be honest. I'm gonna do better. I just don't lie for me, but I need your help. This is the next few, well, I don't know how long. This is gonna be a rough couple times.
Adrian, I will say this once, and I will say that it is true. If there is one thing a man like you needs, it is not a liar. You need to learn more about yourself. And there are two people on board who know how to help with that. One of them is not me. But I will say this. If you need me, and only if you need me, I shall do whatever you ask.
Mikia, we need a liar more than we need anyone else right now.
No. Lying is what has got us into this shithole. I think some honesty would do the group some good.
Well, how better to tell us what's honest from someone who knows how to lie with the best of them? Look, Mikia, I want to trust you. You have been upfront with me when you had no reason to be. This is the last secret I hold from you. And now you know everything.
Mikia lights up a death stick. He pulls out the little lighter that he's been carrying and lights up a death stick. I want you to tell me those exact words in 1 month. 1 month of us traveling. Because I guarantee you, by the end of that month, you will have learned more about yourself than you have in your entire life. And only then, after that month, then you can tell me that you have kept no secrets from me. Sound good?
Adrian offers his hand for a shake.
I instead of shaking it, I do one of those side high fives. Relax. Destiny is on your side.
All the same, I'd rather have a friend at my back. This is gonna be rough.
Don't worry so much, my friend. You have nothing to fear of Temnut.
I'm not worried about Temnut. I'm more worried about the Force.
As you say that, there is a crackle of the PA system on the ship, and it just goes, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Can I get two knuckleheads to, I guess, the hollow table in the mess? Yeah. Yeah, the hollow table in the mess. We'll all meet there. Sound good? Awesome. Can't hear you anyway. And it clicks off.
There's a soft chuckle.
I do a finger flick of my cigarette and I chuckle with Adrian.
I'll tell Quinn
Not,
time, but thank you, Mikia.
Don't mention it. And I literally flick the cigarette and I walk to the center.
after the PA notice, Hermit takes his finger off the PA system, looks at Quinn, and goes, "They got the point across, I think."
Yeah, you were very, very forward, and I understood what you meant, sir.
Awesome. So, you're okay with me flying this thing?
Oh yes. I mean, I've been having a bit of trouble piloting by myself. The ship wasn't exactly built for someone my size, um, and any experienced pilot who is willing to stick around with us is okay by me.
Tell you
Just,
what. Hey,
just-
hey. Tell you what. You co-pilot for me, and I'll show you the tips and tricks of flying craft better than anyone else can.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And
Also,
if it sells me anymore, you're learning from an ex-Jedi. And he shrugs. Let's go ahead and get to the mess, huh?
yes,
He puts a very like rough but gentle bandaged hand on your head and walks past you.
Quinn just kind of like pats his own head for a second, like, oh my goodness, and then
oh my god.
and then follows like 2 seconds later.
Cool. You guys all meet up back in the mess.
Yes. Before he arrives, could I think Adrian is gonna reach out and mentally just try and use the one force power he knows he can use just for a second to make sure that it's like this isn't a fluke. He's trying this. Maybe it'll work.
What are you trying to make?
I think he's trying to make. I think he's just trying to make a knife, not a copy of the knife he got in the temple, just a copy of his vibro knife to see
For sure.
he's not insane. He can do this.
Yeah. Roll your force die. Describe to me how it happens.
Hands shaking, breath unsteady. Adrian just looks in his hand and imagines I am a knife. He clenches his fist, and before it closes, there is a white and blue ghastly image of a vibro knife that has physical form that just kind of grabs in his hand, and when he lets go, fades off into nothing.
Mikia. I assume Mikia sees this. Because you guys are walking basically together.
Mikia does, and kind of watching, definitely more in amazement this time. I take another swig of my death stick. You know, if you wanted to make something a little more useful, you wouldn't make that fucking toothpick you have.
It just looks at him and goes, "Shut the fuck up, Mikia."
Everyone meets back up. As Adrian and Mikia come back in, actually like kind of laughing with each other. The hermit actually looks up at you two, kind of nods, and you hear behind the mask just go, "Good to see you guys in such cheerful spirits."
It's not like we've got a crime lord of one of the biggest crime families of ever hunting us down with bounty hunters.
There's worse things. I should know.
You
That
would.
being said, and he kind of like pans the mask towards Mikia at that little snide comment and looks back at the hollow table. He types in a few keys, and a star map comes up, and he goes, "So, as the newly appointed pilot, where the hell are we going?"
I look to Quinn.
If I may, I may point out the places of interest that I know of. Not sure if it seems that. Well, we don't necessarily have a goal in mind because I don't necessarily think that we are artifact hunting for money. Are we?
Not at this point, my friend. Don't worry about the cash. Where would you like to go next?
Well, we are a straight shot down from Bestman. And there's I have heard of a temple on Bespin that would like to investigate, and I turned to Adrian, and they might have information for helping you out, sir.
This is true. They might have something for you there, Adrian.
I wouldn't mind learning.
Well, if that's where you guys want to head, I might know exactly who you need to talk to, Adrian.
I mean, you'd have a better idea than me. But who are you thinking?
Well, last night, Mikia and I, and as he's kind of like talking, he's pulling down the hood, unclasping his mask until eventually he takes off the mask. And just kind of like puts it on a crate. Walks back, and now in full light, this man is almost in human years, even with the burns and the scars, is about 50 years old. He's quite weathered, quite battle torn, but still able to move like you saw him in the temple. He kind of looks back at the map and looks up at Adrian and goes, "Well, me and your friend were having a discussion last night before I eventually tucked him in," and he winks at Mikia.
I make a sleeping face.
And he goes, "But what if I told you, Adrian, that you're not the only one?"
Hmm?
In the past 20 years that I've been kind of surviving, I met an individual on Bespin.
I'd
Only
be glad
person.
to be the only one. Someone else can carry on this fucking legacy.
I wouldn't count your chickens. But I can guarantee you he'll have more insight on your condition, as you kind of hinted at. He'll have more of a insight than I can.
That's fine.
So Bespin it is?
As long as we can get there. I'm just glad to have a working ship again.
Well, working. Let's see if this hunk of junk can actually get off the ground first.
Fair enough.
And then, not to mention, we have to get past the blockade. Get past the initial security screening to get through the blockade. Once we get through the blockade, we'll have to deal with the dog fighters, and then eventually All the while, I assume Poindexter over here, and he looks at Quinn, can hopefully punch in the astrogation coordinates so that we can actually make the jump. Because as I've heard, there were some issues with the Navicomputer.
Yeah.
And also, from what I'm to understand, is you don't have an astromech droid to repair this Navicomputer, nor the funds to replace it if it is completely shot.
No, and full disclosure for everyone, I have just been cleared out of almost all my credits.
You have credits?
Oh, yes, sir. I had nearly 4,000 credits just last week.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well,
Let us get to
zero.
Bespin, and hopefully the credit issue will take care of itself.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. Nickname for Cloud City is the casino in the sky. See if we can break it big.
Mikia gets
Quinn
a smile
kinda
on his face.
Quinn kind of sinks in on himself, realizing that we're bringing a gambler to a gambling den.
Quill slaps the table once and goes, "So Cloud City?"
To Cloud
Yes,
City.
sir.
We have our heading. And he lifts himself up and walks towards the cockpit.
Quinn just kind of shuffles down to. Actually, no, he could have below dead anywhere. Never mind. Yeah, Quinn just shuffles after him to take the co-pilot seat.
Cool. Awesome. So this is gonna take a string of checks from Quill. All right. So the first step, very easily, his actually for fun's sake, we're just gonna make him roll this. The handling on the YT is a +1. He removes any black from handling checks. It's gonna be 2 purple to just lift off. Yeah, no. Before you guys get buckled in, there's no announcement, there's no nothing. Until about 5 minutes later, I'll say Mikia or Adrian, both of you even. You're kind of just walking around waiting for like the announcement to buckle up until eventually one of you sees like a plate kind of shift off the counter a little bit. And then it occurs to you, you're already airborne. You're walking around fine and you're airborne. Quinn, what you see in the cockpit, this man is flipping switches and turning knobs and pushing buttons that you didn't even know were on your ship.
I'm just watching in awe. Or at least trying to do my best to help when he asks.
It's like if you went from a go-kart, like if you were driving your car like you're driving a go-kart, when in fact it is like a full-blown like
Formula One.
Like a Maserati.
No, like a semi-truck. You're driving a freighter, not a dogfighter. So it has gears upon gears upon gears and buttons and indicators. But this man is like easily lifting up your landing gear as he's taking off, smooth as shit. He looks at you and he goes, "What?"
It's beautiful.
Oh.
He kind of laughs and he goes, "Turn on the scanners, would you?" And he flicks another switch.
Quinn immediately just like, yes, and flips it on.
Okay. First obstacle that I'm going to give all of you. Immediately as you're taking off, you start getting hailed by separatist security forces. What do?
Wait for them to say
This
something.
goes out. All 3 of you, they're essentially just asking for credentials and why you're leaving during a blockade.
Adrian, would you like to explain you're a Mandalorian?
Can't hurt. I'll just explain that I need to get home to Mandalore.
I agree. Make sure to tell them that you are definitely not Republic and you're definitely not Separatist. I am assisting him in his call.
Yeah, I'll just drop the clan name and see if that helps.
You never know.
All right, so roll deception and Mika. So essentially, like, as soon as they start hailing you, there's a call on the PA system of Quill going, "Hey, they're hailing us. What do I tell them?" You all run into the cockpit. Mika and Adrian. Adrian, if you would like to roll deception using Mika's ranks, you may.
Okay. What ranks am I using, Mika?
You have 2 ranks in deception. I would also recommend you use the destiny point. You never know, we might be able to get out of this alive.
Okay. Difficulty?
Let's see. What is the score of a B1 pilot droid?
Always worth investigating.
It is going to be 2 purple.
Any blues or black?
Do 2 blues just for the off chance that Quinn and Quill can help you. Just kind of like doing whatever they can to help you out with this lie. The ship is going to take 2 strain.
Mm-hmm.
As Adrian is talking, Quill just kind of very slowly pushes the accelerator forward just a tad as you're talking, as he's just kind of like, okay, quickly. But yes, the lie works. One of you, it can be anyone, just kind of punches in some random credentials, and somehow they work.
Mikia does it because...
Mika can't understand what codes are these days. Quill's too out of touch. Mika kind of just like punches in some random codes. It's accepted. You guys are pushed past the atmospheric security. You guys exit atmosphere. The blockade stands before you. This is the next challenge. What are you all going to do?
Any way that'll work again on these guys?
I'm casual.
I doubt it. Hermit, what is the chance we could hit the hyperspace lane from where we're at currently?
Well, without a Navi computer, and with there being 3 ships in front of us, and he pans to you, Mikia, I feel like the odds are pretty against us to just jump from hyperspace from this distance.
How long do you
Yeah,
think you would need? How long do you think you would need to jump to hyperspace?
The better question is how long will Quinn here need to make the calculations before it can actually get there?
Quinn starts calculating.
I might be able to play into figuring out what is going on until we're ready to make the jump. But I need to know how long I need to hold them off.
That's another option. And you, all 3 of you, well, I guess since Quinn's doing math, Adrian and Mika, you watch as a very kind of slow, mischievous smile kind of creeps across Quill's lips as he just goes, or I could test the limits on this YT. Break past the blockade, move between the dogfighters. At that point, maybe Quinn will have the calculations ready.
I'd say save that for a plan B, my friend. You never know. I might be able to buy enough time with me bullshitting these droids.
All right. So basically, the equivalent of you like getting to the airport, knowing you have some kind of non-TSA shit in your luggage that you need to get past. You're basically sitting outside of TSA, just like hands on hips, looking at the TSA agents, going, how do we do this?
Like I said, Quinn is just still trying to start the calculations. Like he's going. It's like
Basically, you're at the border going like, I have a full 2-gallon bottle of iced tea in my bag. How do I smuggle it onto the plane?
Open a communication to the head flagship.
no.
Let's see what we can
Don't do that. Don't open. Just if they call, just go.
I will give you this for free, Quinn. In order to make accurate astrogation checks, you're gonna have to clear these whales of ships.
Yep.
Because at any point, these ships could just change their course in the middle of your calculations, and that would change the entire thing.
Okay. Yes, it is probably better if we get past them at some point.
Like I said, open a channel. Let's see what damage I can do to their robot brains.
So should I start coasting now and deal with the call when they give it, or should I just open a channel now and then start going?
No, just go now.
Head straight for the flagships. I'll begin communication. I'll buy us as much time as possible.
Alrighty. I'm gonna say the Hermit puts it into, I'll say into 2-speed, and just starts easing forward. Just coasting, flying casual as Adrian has advised. Just flying straight forward. And lo and behold, you start getting hailed pretty aggressively.
Mm-hmm.
Open a channel.
Quill moves forward, sets his hand, puts his finger on the button, looks at you, pushes the button, and puts his hands up in the air like, it's all you, bud. You hear back. Civilian vessel. State your purpose for leaving the planet.
We have a Mandalorian on board wishing to transport back to his home world.
Don't remember transporting any Mandalorian into the planet. What's your ship's credentials?
Can I do like a throat kind of? No, don't.
Transmitting clearance codes that we had used to gain access off planet now. And I input the same codes that I had last time.
Okay, please roll me a deception check. Roll against 1 red, a purple, 1 red, a purple, and 2 black, please, against your deception.
Yes! Yes!
Mikia, please take 2 conflict for lying.
I'm lying to the bad guys. Fuck you.
You're still lying.
To the fucking...
Rules are rules.
What the fuck ever.
Rules, bitch.
What the fuck ever.
As the YT is slowly coasting, beaming transmissions that are very clearly false, but the voice on the other end goes, "Oh, the ambassador. Oh, yes, of course. Stranger flying on a different vessel, and you came in on.
We are trying to keep the ambassador's location secret. We would appreciate if you would not transmit our location."
That's Of course, no, I understand. I understand being discreet. If you could please put the ambassador on the line, please. Just so I can verify identity.
We all just like look at Adrian.
The ambassador is currently taking a meeting through a hollow channel, but I will get him for you as soon as possible.
If you could, just slow down a little bit so that I can have a word with him as he leaves.
Of course.
For the record.
Of course. I nudge Hermit to slow down as requested. So far, we are buying this at least for like a nanosecond.
He drops down to 1 speed.
I put the channel on mute, and I look at Quinn. How much longer before we can jump to hyperspace?
You guys, the ship is just now kind of like if the ships were making like a physical, like kind of like in the water, like as Navy ships do, making like that kind of line. The tip of your ship has just now crossed that part.
I'm gonna ask Quinn the same fucking question. How long before we have to jump?
I don't know.
Quinn, roll me an astrogation check.
Mm-hmm.
Against 2 red and a purple, please. And 1 black. Go ahead and add a black to that, too.
I'm assuming the black is because I'm under pressure.
Oh, that's a good point. 2 black.
Damn it.
Thank you for reminding the DM of reality.
Don't look at me. You did it.
Quinn.
That's good.
Quinn, you're under pressure. You don't have a navicomputer. This is probably the most intense, because your ship is also damaged. Still, you're under a lot of pressure. It would just, with the Triumph, honestly, for safety reasons, and you can relay this however you want, but for safety reasons, being conscious of everything that is happening around you, it would be best if the current navicomputer, which is you, is comfortable making the calculations, and the only way you're going to be comfortable is if you're past the blockade.
So I do the quick math in my head at the current speed that Quill is traveling, and how long it would be to travel actually past these guys. And I give that time.
Okay. Cool. You give a nondescript amount of time.
I look at Adrian and I go, you know more about Mandalorian culture than anyone. Do not reveal your name if you can avoid it, and simply let them know that you are very pleased with what you saw on the planet, and that you now wish to return home to spread the good word of the Separatist army. Good?
Do we have Cedric?
I'm here.
Oh.
All right.
You don't happen to know any ambassadors, do you?
Adrian, I'll give you this flat knowledge. Mandalore's ambassadors typically don't come with words. They usually come with blasters. So if you are a Mandalore ambassador, at least from where you were raised, that's a disgrace of a Mandalorian. But that's up to you. It is. That's the information that you have in your head. I'm just presenting it.
They haven't fired on us yet, though.
That correct?
Quill.
Quill turns his head to you.
Draw up a firing solution on the main computer and just transmit those coordinates.
I'm sorry, one more time, Cedric? Drop a what?
Draw up a firing solution on the command ship and then send them those coordinates.
A firing solution?
Meaning that's what we're going to shoot at.
If they don't let us through.
Ah, a threat.
If Quinn's
No.
eyes could go bug-eyed, they would be right now.
I can roll with this. Just
Wonderful.
Just
Okay.
let it. Yeah, just do it, and I will roll with it.
Okay. Before any of you can use a light side point, I'm going to use a dark side point. Give me a second to think about the difficulty of what this will be.
Well, it's not really a difficulty as much as it is, what, like, as the solution comes on board, and I assume that the flagships read it, I turn back on the communicator. I believe that you have somehow, and I, as a non-Mandalorian myself, I'm not sure how this happened. You have angered the Mandalorian emissary, as he believes he is duty-bound to move forward and show his aggression. If you will please allow us through, we will overlook this transgression.
Adrian, what are your ranks in coercion?
Not much.
Okay. Do you have any ranks in coercion?
No.
All right. Nikia, do you have any ranks in coercion?
Of course not. Of course, I'm still deceiving. At least that would be my opinion. I'm not intimidating. Adrian's intimidating. I'm not. I'm trying to apologize and defuse the situation.
Yes, but you are currently the one who is speaking. Therefore, you will be making the social role, my friend. Adrian, you can add 1 blue to Mikia's roll. I will say Quill will also do that for actually drawing up the schematic. So you'll be rolling this with 2 extra blues. Go ahead and roll deception.
Oh, deception.
It's going to be... Oh, no. Sorry, coercion, because you're...
Damn it! I shouldn't have said anything.
No. You should be honest. You should.
I know.
Don't pull one over on your old DM. Bless you.
Thank you.
The same difficulty as... Actually, no. It's going to be... Hang on, let me see. What is his... It is going to be... 2 red and 2 black coercion check.
Ooh.
The coordinates, or the firing, basically the battle plans of this ship, or at least the weak spots of the ship, are beamed back to the ship, and with Mikia's words, you hear a voice go back of, "Oh, well, that confirms you definitely have the Mandalorian on your ship. But, rules are rules, and I can't let you pass until I speak with the Mandalorian emissary themselves." And as he says this, Quill kind of does like the backhand like slap onto Mikia's chest, points to one of his indicators as the warships, as these blockade ships start warming up their weapons. And then Quill looks at Adrian and like kind of scratches his chin.
I turn off the microphone again. Quinn, how much longer?
Until we pass these ships.
Adrian, be short and concise. I will feed you whatever words I can, but you must speak with them.
Open a channel.
I open the channel and I go, in great... no, how do I want to put this? With great resignation and wishing to follow the rules of the Separatist army, I present the Mandalorian emissary.
Why is it taking this long for us to get past?
My apologies, emissary. I merely wish to speak to you in person to verify your identity.
I'm here. What do you need to know?
I need your name and the reason of your visit, please. For the record.
My visit here was to examine the defenses of a blockaded planet. Your name is... Javen, I'm going to give my father's name.
You're going to give the name of Ronan Callus.
Yep. We're going to see how this plays out.
What kind of roll would this be?
If it is a deception check, I am skillfully helping Adrian.
I am going to use a dark side destiny point to disallow that.
Fair.
Well, fuck you anyway.
Sure,
just cut out the voice.
You're not talking, bitch.
Cut out the face then. Fuck you.
Cool. Go ahead. Yeah, give me a deception check. It'll be 1 red, 1 purple. And go ahead and add a blue and a black to it. And see how this plays out.
You got it, DM.
Could I... Never mind. Oh! Those dice are angry as fuck.
Second.
Please, let's role play this out, Cedric. Please. You say you were made to investigate a blockade. Please continue.
My name is Ronan Callus, and I am just here to make sure the blockade is secure. You have done so. Now let me the fuck out.
There's a moment of silence. And then the transmission chimes back on. And he goes, "Oh! I wasn't aware your hiring would start so soon. Major Callus, my mistake. I was simply verifying your identity." I didn't even know you were meant to be the emissary for this. Of course. I'm sorry for keeping you. And the comms shut off, and all of the weapons start to cool off.
There's a moment of panic as Adrian realizes, hey, my dad might fucking be alive. Oh shit, what the fuck?
I put a hand on Adrian's shoulder as sort of a calming presence. You did a good job. Take a deep breath.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. We're through.
I hate to point that out, but we're not through.
They will let us through, Quinn.
As this happens, Quill pushes up on the throttle a bit more and a bit more until the ship is at like max speed, but for the YT the max speed is just like going 80. So essentially just like move past the blockade after you've been cleared. Quinn, can you please make the astrogation check?
With pleasure.
It is going to be 3 purple, please. No blacks. Nothing like that.
What?
You guys make it past the blockade. Quill looks at you and goes, all right, what's the status?
This is a little bit more difficult without the navigomputer. I've never had to do this math by hand before.
You know what? We're past the blockade. Take your time. I'm not even going to make Quinn roll. You guys take an extra 5 minutes. Quinn cools down. You're able to do the astrogation check properly. Eventually, you guys jump into hyperspace towards Bespin. We can, at this point, we can stop, or we can keep going depending on what you guys would like to do. It is up to you.
I am fine, but I know I don't have work tomorrow, so I can literally do this all night.
I'm good.
Unless there's anything...
More than happy to continue.
Okay, so do you guys... Okay, so essentially, from Deveron to Bespin, it's like a... Basically, let's call it a day's travel. So, with that, I'm going to say, Adrian, you got 2 wounds left. Everyone with strain can go ahead and erase it. I'll say the system can heal its strain as well. If anyone would like to make repairs on the ship, you may, or otherwise we can just roleplay this out. Is there anything you guys would like to do while you're on the ship, just traveling along to Cloud City?
Yes, there are 2 things. A, I'm not very good at repairing, so I'm not even gonna bother.
Okay, so let's just go person by person. Mikia, yes, there's stuff that you want to do. Quinn, is there anything that you would like to do?
Quinn.
Just a simple yes or no will suffice.
Okay. Yes.
Adrian?
Yeah, there's a couple things I'd like to do.
Awesome. So let's, for funsies, just go ahead and roll cool initiative and see who gets what.
All right.
Awesome. Mikia, you're up first.
So, on the first, full day of travel, we're all kind of bumming around the ship. I look at the vibro sword that I have, and I'm just kind of examining it, going, now this is the weapon of a false Jedi, yeah? And I'm just kind of flinging it around in my hands. I kind of tap it on my shoulder a little bit, and then I get an idea in my head.
What are you... Okay, wait. What are you flinging around? You cut out before...
The vibro sword.
Everything before that. Ah, yes, the blunted vibro sword.
Yeah. I literally look at it and I go, this is the weapon of a false Jedi, no? And I kind of thump it on my shoulder a little bit, and I get an idea in my head. This might be fun. So I literally go looking for Adrian.
Adrian, would you like to be found?
Yeah, I feel like I would be pretty easy to find at this point.
So to kind of redirect the party at the layout of the ship, it's pretty barren right now. You kind of just essentially you guys are sleeping on sleeping bags or just wherever you can find around the ship because there's really only one true bed in this ship. And that's in Quinn's room. And it's like a Yoda-sized bed. So you guys are kind of just wandering around aimlessly. Let's say Adrian's found in the mess. I feel like it's easy enough.
As soon as I find Adrian, I don't even I'm not trying to be subtle at all. I immediately go, aha! I have finally found you, Mandalorian. It is I, Mikia, the Jedi. And I literally hold my hands out with the blade in my hand.
The fuck are you on, Mikia?
I, good sir, am on the high spirits of our unbelievable way of getting past those battleships. Even though you and I were allies not too long ago, I, Mikia the Jedi, challenge you to a duel. And I hold the sword out like I'm some sort of fencer. Come and face me, Mando.
Adrian looks at the porridge he was eating, puts down whatever implement he was eating it with, sighs, grabs his knife, and is like, alright, if you really want to do this.
Please, not while we're in hyperspace.
Behold the fated duel of the Jedi versus the Mando. I'm acting like I'm playing to a crowd of 500.
Cool. So how physically on the dice do you want to do this, if at all, or you guys just want to role play this out?
I'm gonna leave that
more
up
than
to...
happy to just role play it out, but if Gia wants to roll it, I'm good.
No, I mean we're not actually like I'm the only thing what Miki is really doing is just trying to get Adrian's mind off of what's going on, and just by like having a fun little sparring match.
All
like
right.
he's playing it up like this is the duel of fates kind of thing, but really Miki is just kind of fucking around and just trying to take Adrian's mind off of things.
Gotcha. So why don't both of you guys give me dice rolls for your melee attack rolls, please? 2 purple. Add on any defense that both of you have.
What's Mikia's defense?
None. Well, actually, with the
right.
vibro sword, I think I have a defense of 1.
Okay.
Potentially. I forget the stats.
Okay. Adrian has defense 1, so just add 1 black to your roll.
Okay.
So with that, take the stage, you two. What happens?
So I begin to do a little spin in the blade, like making a big circle, and all I'm doing, I'm not even acting like I know what I'm doing in this fight. It's more along the lines that I keep talking up this big battle. The final duel between the Jedi and the Mando to decide all fate of the galaxy. What will be your decision, Mando? And I just keep going.
Adrian?
I feel like while he's doing this, Adrian just kind of like pulls the phase knife from his, and it's just like, so it's kind of like the Maul versus Kenobi duel. It's like parry, bat him with the pommel of my knife.
So it's a lot of Maul talking, and you just like bop bop.
Exactly.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, that happens. Mikia, Adrian kind of bops you a little hard in the noggin. You do what you do. Go on from there.
Ah, a most good move. Ah, fuck, that really hurt. A really brilliant move by the Mando. Only those of the skill of the last Mando does this even make sense. But you have not seen the true skill of the Jedi. And I don't even stop. I just wildly swing. I do a forward slash, roll the blade over my right shoulder, and just kind of keep striking upwards. But the last thing of my flourish is literally a backspin and trying to stab for Adrian's gut.
I feel like for that, it's just like Adrian just pulls the Spetsnaz, like block, drop the knife into his other hand, and then as soon as he stabs, just like stabs, sidesteps, and swirls the blade, coming up with the knife against Mikia's throat, and like, okay, this was fun.
I pull away.
Mikia,
Go ahead.
even though you're kind of playing around, you can kind of tell that like Adrian is very much used to just sparring matches is a do or die situation,
Right.
regardless of what you would like it to be.
Well, and with that, I kind of tip the blade downwards to show defeat, and I drop the act completely, and I go, "Did you at least have a little fun?"
Honestly, yeah. I haven't really had a spar in a good while.
Then perhaps this is something we should do once a week, no?
I'd like that, Mikia. Besides, and Adrian literally just taps the sword, and I feel like it's one of those where he makes the sword ring so much that Mikia has trouble holding onto it.
Yeah, I literally drop it as you hit it in the right spot.
The one where it's like right near the middle, where she's like a bong.
Ah, fuck!
You really need to work on your grip, my friend.
You know, I've never had a partner tell me I need to work on my grip. You'll be the first, but I'll give it a shot.
There's a distinct pause as Adrian processes that, decides to move past it, and is like, right, well, we'll need to use both hands for this one, and just walks out of the day.
Like, Mikia starts just rolling on the floor laughing, going, "You're making this too easy, Adrian! Come on!"
All right. Moving to Quinn.
The only thing I'm going to do is try and figure out repairs, seeing if I can do anything on the nav computer.
For sure. Go ahead and just roll.
Because I have here written down Navcom broke, average 2 purple repair.
Okay. Oh yeah. I forgot it was a full-blown critical injury. Thank you for writing it down.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
Let me look at the critical modifiers. That's for that. Yeah, go ahead and roll a mechanics check with 2 purple, please.
Okay.
There we go. While you're in hyperspace, Quinn kind of goes into the engine room and successfully heals the Navicomputer critical injury.
Cool.
So you can go ahead and erase that.
I get done and I'm like, I do not enjoy doing math in my head.
It powers on, and you realize you don't have to do math in your head anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything any one of you wanted to do extra? I know Adrian wanted to do something, probably not what Miki wanted to do, but Adrian, what did you want to do?
I was just hoping to get a chance to, like, meditate. And the reason I wanted to have some time alone is Idrian is finally looking at the history of the Callus clan in that holocron.
Okay. Now remind me, did you take the entire holocron or just like one or two names? I think you only took one or two names.
I remember taking the data disk. That may have been one or two names, but I took what I could from the library. May not have been the entire holocron.
I had a paper somewhere around here with that info on it. Yeah, here we go. Wow. All right. Well, I literally just wrote History of Callus. So yeah, I guess you just took the whole disc.
Holy fuck.
Cool.
Okay then.
I'm gonna say it wasn't a holocron, but it was like the size of an external hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of snatch it from the archives. But yeah, I'll say after Mika and Adrian kind of like do their little bit, yeah, you open up your big old file. Inside of this hard drive, you hook it up to the to one of the computers, one of the two computers on this ship. And yeah, there's a list of about kind of like when the Avatar meditates and looks on all of their past lives.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot. There's a lot, but the dates of when the Callus clan like ends on record, at least for the Jedi, ends about 100 years ago, ish.
Yeah.
So what would you like to do?
I feel like I would want to know the most recent Callus 100 years ago.
Most recent Callus 100 years ago. Is there anything specific that you're looking for, or just kind of like a basic rundown?
Basic rundown. I feel like Idrian hasn't really done a whole bunch of research into this, so he's just kind of like, what do the Callus clan have to do with the Jedi?
Mm-hmm. I gotcha. Let's see. So the most recent Callus member that is on file for the Jedi
Mm-hmm.
is named Hello?
We're here.
Yep, I'm here.
Hello? Oh,
Hello?
hi. Okay, cool. Did you hear me?
Didn't
Would
get
you
the
mind
name.
repeating?
The most recent Callus is Jin Callus.
Okay, Jin Callus.
Female. The most recent one was not actually admitted into the temple.
Mm-hmm.
This record portrays her as from what you can kind of read of this semi-scarce file, is something of like a Black Ops agent.
Mm-hmm.
But also not really. Like, Jin Callus being the last Callus that the Jedi had contact with on a friendly basis and even in like a Force-sensitive training basis, Jin Callus only got very rudimentary Force training. because they kept Jin Callus as a spy on Mandalore.
Okay.
The reason that Jin Callus was the last one is because Jin Callus had no children.
Okay.
It is made record on Jin Callus's profile that of her adeptness of the ability to conjure items and weapons at will, almost ad nauseum, for any of her sparring opponents.
Mm-hmm.
It is also on file that she did not take any Mandalorian armor, but was kept as a simple farmer.
Gotcha.
Are there any other questions for? Are there any questions about Jin Callus?
Not about Jin Callus, but I may have questions later, so feel free to go for it.
All right. Mika, is there anything else you'd like to do?
Yes, I am going to stop in when Quinn is not helping co-pilot or anything along that line. I'm going to stop in and find Quinn.
So let's say you run into Quinn right after he's finished fixing the hype. Well, right? I'll say like an hour after Quinn fixed the Navic computer.
Okay.
So Quinn, what would you have done after you fixed the Navic computer?
I would have gone to my droid and uploaded any data that is taking up space on my data pad.
All right. So let's say, I'll honestly say, Mika, this might be the first time you're actually seeing this power loader have any actual use. You find Quinn with essentially an iPad plugged into this big hulking power lifter.
That is a marvelous achievement for what you're using it for.
Oh no, he just I have it's a Can I help you?
As a matter of fact, yes. Yes, you can. Tell me, Quinn, what fascinates you about the Jedi so much?
Well, I suppose it all well, see, the day that all the Jedi died, was the day I was born.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So what led you to a path of studying the Jedi then?
Oh, I just thought it was a fun, of interest thing for a long time, and then I found some Jedi artifact. Well, maybe it's Jedi. I don't know if it's Jedi. I thought it was Jedi, and I don't know. Maybe it's yeah, found something. I found.
Could you show me these artifacts? I might be able to point out what they are. I was impersonating one not too long ago. I mean no disrespect. If you wish to not show me, I take it as a courtesy.
Come with me. And I just got, as the data transfer is happening, I just set my data pad on like the power lifter's like jacks. So it's like
there is for sure like a little holster installed for this exact happenstance.
Yeah.
Like someone calls you away, you just kind of like put it in the little pocket and then just leave.
Yep. So I set the data pad down and just kind of like start heading towards my room.
I follow Quinn.
As soon as I get there, I open the door, and then as Mikia is going to go in, the door closes for a second, and it's like you hear Quinn just kind of shuffling around, just like getting something unburied, and then the door opens back up, and I hold out the artifact that I found, which was I believe what we discussed is just a hilt for a saber. It's like no other functioning part. It's just a grip hilt.
It is a basically. God, the description I have is so vague. Geo, did you play Star Wars: The Old Republic, like the MMO?
I did, but I played a trooper, not a Jedi.
Yeah, okay. Basically, yeah, it is just the lower handle of like a leather grip.
Okay.
Basically, like the outer shell.
Right.
Of a lightsaber. It kind of just looks like a metal tube with like a little bit of like old crusted leather on it.
Of course. It's one of those, to the naked eye, it looks like a lightsaber, but to those who know, it's basically like 1/5 of the part.
To the naked eye, it looks like a flashlight.
Fair
The
enough.
knowing person, it looks like an old encrusted maybe hilt to a weapon, maybe.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it and I go, a marvelous achievement. Where did you find it?
I don't think we have actually established that part.
Yes, we did.
Did we? Was it Polis Massa?
It was one of the asteroids that is on the asteroid cluster that is Polis Massa.
Ah. All right. So, back in the cluster.
And you've had this for how long?
A while.
And what is it exactly?
Well, from what I understand, it is just that's the you grab it here, and then there's other things that well, I'm not quite sure how a saber works, but there's other things, and I kind of like I've seen pictures of other ones, but not whole ones, because most pictures the Jedi is actually holding their saber, so I can't get a full picture. Yeah, this is just where you hold it.
This is a miraculous artifact, Quinn. You should be proud to have found it.
Yes, yeah. And Quinn kind of like gently with like 2 fingers on each hand kind of takes it from you like a.
I gently release it. I'm not trying to keep it.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, it's more of like, this is a delicate artifact. I handle it with care.
Be so careful. Don't drop it.
So what else have you learned about the Jedi in your time studying them?
Well, not much, to be honest. Most of their information has been kept in their temples, and well, the first time I visited temple was when I was on Coruscant.
So that was the first temple you visited. What do you think
Yes.
you might have learned from being there? You obviously have some conjectures, maybe.
Well, not much. Most information I gathered from just other people telling me, and it's not a lot. It's just stories.
Tell me, what stories have you learned?
What? Why are you asking?
I thought you might enjoy sharing the knowledge that you know. It is the one thing you keep talking about. I thought you
Hmm.
might enjoy sharing someone who might have a genuine interest in the Jedi as well.
Um. Well, I am honestly not sure how Quinn would take this.
Someone showing an actual real interest in your passion.
Yeah. No, you know what? I established that Quinn has no restraint when it comes to this kind of stuff. So essentially, what happens in the next 3 seconds is you hear the door open, just the shh. You feel a pull on your chest, and then you're suddenly thrust into a chair. The lights go out, a projection comes on. Sit down! Like, kind of situation where it's just like, all right, from what I've learned, and it's a good PowerPoint kind of presentation.
Like a good 75-page PowerPoint of everything Quinn has learned.
Most of it is like someone here told me this, and someone else told me this, and I found this small thing that I thought was. I found pictures or something. I looked it up and saw a bunch of pictures and whatnot. Like figured out certain the ways that the Jedi operate, like basic. Like I knew that they had a connection with the Force. I knew there was a certain level of combat. I knew there was the plague. I knew that there was that they're an ancient order, and so it's
a good fat info dump for the remainder of the trip, I would probably say.
Yeah.
So
I think what the way we initially described it was, it is as much as a casual Star Wars fan in our world would know.
Yeah.
So at the end of it all, and I understand that, you kind of want to wrap this part up, and I understand why. But at the end of it all, after absorbing the casual information, and Mikia is honestly listening as intently and as coherently as Quinn is able to talk about this coherently. I sit back and I go, interesting. Even though the incident, the plague that happened 20 years ago, and we had all this information, and now it seems like we have none. I honestly wonder why that is. Tell me, Quinn, do you have a conjecture or maybe a theory as to what happened 20 years ago?
No.
Do you have any theories about the Jedi combat, or even possibly what they were like in person?
I mean, they had to be very they had to be very good at what they did, and from what I understand, it was almost amazing to watch. But I mean, they had their own style, and I don't necessarily know what that is, but it was. If I had more time on Coruscant, I would know, or I would figure this stuff out. But
Well then, and I slap my knee and I get up. It sounds to me as we need to get you back to Coruscant as soon as possible, or even to the Jedi Temple on Bespin as soon as possible, so you can continue your research.
yes, that would be lovely.
Then we must make it so. Is there any way that I can assist you in your noble quest?
Quinn just stands there, and it looks like he's just staring at you. And to any other person with facial features, you would probably understand that he's just thinking about it. But Quinn is literally just standing there, blankly staring at you, and just says, "No."
Well, if you can think of any way that I can be of assistance to you, please let me know. I sincerely believe that you hold one of the keys to figuring out all of this, especially with all the knowledge you have already gathered.
Okay. And then he just shushes you out of his room.
As soon as I leave, I find the nearest like wall bunker, like thing that I deem as sturdy. I pull my head back and slam it directly into the bunker and go, "What the fuck did I just hear?" Yeah, just like externally, like, what the fuck was all that? I don't even understand half of what he said.
And how does Quinn feel after joyously lecturing a fellow party member?
I think he's really starting to learn.
Ah!
I think I'm really getting through to him. Awesome. Does anyone want to do anything else? Talk to Quill, talk to other party members, anything?
I've done the two things I needed to do.
Yeah, not at the moment.
Quinn, you good? Adrian?
We're all good here.
Mm-hmm. All right. Then if that's the case, there is an alert of the PA system as Quill tells you that you're about to arrive on Bespin. And as the ship zooms off out of hyperspace, the credits roll. And that's where we will end our session for tonight. Gio, you can go ahead and stop recording.